Hello friends and welcome back. I am Andrea Vincent. I'm a local real estate broker down here in Southwest Washington State, and I do videos all about the little towns in Southwest Washington. Today, I'm going to tell you all about the pros and the cons of Naselle, Washington. So if you are thinking about moving here, you better stick around so you can catch this. Welcome back. Like I said, my name is Andrea Vincent and I'm a local real estate broker here in Southwest Washington, specifically all of Pacific County, all of Wahkiakum County, and even Cowlitz County. That covers a lot of little towns down here on the Columbia River, as well as the Long Beach Peninsula. And I absolutely love getting phone calls from all over, from people like you who watch my YouTube videos and are thinking about moving here, and they give me a call, send me a text, shoot me an email. So if you are thinking about that, don't hesitate. I am a real person. Hand dance. I'm a real estate broker and I am local. You can't beat getting a local realtor, real estate broker in the area you're moving because they know all the ins and outs, like you've probably seen in a lot of my videos. So today, like I said, I'm going to give you the scoop, the lowdown about Naselle, Washington. So Naselle is primarily in Pacific County, but it does have a little part still in Wahkiakum County as well. So some of the positives. Obviously, first and foremost, it is gorgeous. We get a lot of rain here in the Northwest, like I've talked about in some of my other videos, and that makes for a lot of greenery. We have the rivers, we have lakes, we have mountains, we have the ocean close by. So you have a lot of outdoor activities. You have the Long Beach Peninsula, which is about 30 minutes west, where you can fish, you can go on the beach, you can clam dig. They have the charter boats there in Wahkiakum, you can do fishing. Naselle is also approximately 30 minutes across the Columbia River to Astoria, Oregon. So a lot of folks like to live on the Washington side and will work on the Oregon side. That's also where a lot of us folks over here do a lot of our main shopping, is over on the Oregon side, because we don't have to pay sales tax over there. And they have the bigger stores there. You stock up your food there and you bring it home. And if you're like us here at my house, we have 3 freezers in our shop, so they're loaded with food, meats and berries and those sorts of things. And you just go get the necessities, once a week, once every 2 weeks, whatever it takes. So you have a lot of the outdoor activities. You have the ocean, you have rivers around. You have obviously the Columbia River, you have the Naselle River, which has salmon, and you also have the Naselle Fish Hatchery there in Naselle. A lot of folks do a lot of salmon fishing on the Naselle River, so it's great for that. You have mountains all around, so there's the berry picking, mushroom picking, hiking. My favorite, the birding, right? So you have all those outdoor stuff and activities like that, which is good. So one of the negatives about the area is you're not going to find a ton of big town entertainment, right? So if you're the type of person who needs your Starbucks, needs activities, bowling, movie theaters, shopping, you name it, not a good place for you. We don't have those things there. We have a coffee stand that's great, by the way. I also work there some of the time. So we do have a coffee stand in town. We've got a couple places for food. So you have Hunter's Bar and Grill, which is a place that you can go to grab some food. And then also you have the Shell gas station there. And they also have a lot of good food too. They actually have probably the best sub sandwiches that I've had in a long while there. It's great food. So you don't have a ton of your mainstream activities. If you want those, you have to go across to Astoria, to go down to the Long Beach Peninsula. So a lot of these smaller towns that I talk about are for the people who want to do the outdoor activities. They like to wear their extra tough boots, their Carhartt jackets to stay warm, they want to go outside. They want to do more of the outdoor-ish activities rather than the mainstream entertainment stuff. So that's one of the positives and negatives. So I also mentioned lakes as well. There are a couple lakes up on what we call Radar Mountain there in Naselle. They're fishing lakes, and you can also camp there too. It's also a campground. But the WDFW stocks them with trout, which are contain some with tags. So our WDFW here, Fish and Wildlife, They tag quite a bit of trout and fish throughout the state, and then they plant them in small lakes. And it's kind of like playing the lottery. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of a lottery person. I love my scratch tickets and the pull tabs. So give me on a lake where it's kind of like treasure hunting also, and you might pull up a tagged fish and win some cool prizes. The other cool thing, when my husband and I were fishing on the little lake there in our small little pontoon boats, so let me rewind really quick and explain. There's small lakes up there. There's no motorized boats on these lakes. Like, they're small. They're pretty shallow. One's called Snag Lake, and it's because there are snags, tree snags, you know, down throughout. The other one is Western Lake. So we have those little pontoon boats, right? So we were out there fishing one evening, and one of the fish I caught swallowed the hook a little too much, as sometimes they do. And I let it go. It seemed to be doing all right, but it didn't. And the next thing I know, this bald eagle came down, swooped it up off the lake. I got a video of it, and obviously me as a birder, that was super cool. So there's all sorts of these kinds of things. If you're a person like me that loves outdoorsy stuff, loves the birds, loves the critters, this place is great, right? Any of these little places along Southwest Washington are perfect for any of those activities. Check out this video. I gave you some of the positives. I gave you one of the negatives, which is you're not going to find a ton of entertainment here, right? One of the other negatives is the area does flood. So we get those, and I've talked about this in a couple of my other videos, we get those right tides, the king tides, the full moons, the rain, the snow melt, and our rivers do flood here. You have the Naselle River, which is tidal based, so that's one thing very important to consider when looking at properties anywhere down here in Southwest Washington, and why it is super important for you to call somebody like myself, who is a local real estate agent to this area, because I have that information. I know where these things flood, and you don't want to get yourself into a house, and next thing you know, next winter when we're getting these flood events and it's coming up into your backyard and you know, washing out your new shed that you put there because you didn't know that it flooded there, right? So flooding is one, you know, it's not major in this area. It does happen though, and it does happen quite often, especially during those specific events like I just mentioned before. One of the other, I guess I would consider it negative, and I think, you know, some of the other folks probably would too who are moving to this area, is obviously we don't have a lot for schools in the area. This Naselle area has one main school, and it also is the school for the west side of Wahkiakum County. So it's called the Naselle Grays River School District, and it is a school for K through 12. So you don't have different schools, you just have one school, and that houses all of your students from K through 12. We also have the Naselle Youth Camp in the area, which is for troubled kids. I've never seen any issues with it. You know, they do a lot of like summertime brush clearing and stuff like that, so work camp stuff, and you know, a kid may run off from that every once in a while, but other than that, I've never seen any big issues with it. But it does provide jobs, which is a good thing. So that leads me into my next negative, which is jobs, right? So in a lot of these smaller towns, smaller areas, we don't have a lot of the normal entertainment. We don't have a lot of the whatever, grocery stores that provide a lot of jobs for local folks. So there are your basic stuff. We have a grocery store in Naselle. We have a post office in Naselle. I mentioned, you know, the two other places. There's Hunter's Inn, which is a bar and grill, and there's the Shell gas station. Then there's the Naselle Youth Camp and the K through 12 Naselle Grays River School. And that's pretty much it for Naselle. There's a Naselle fish hatchery as well. A lot of folks, like I mentioned earlier, they will live on the Washington side and they'll, you know, work over in Astoria. So it's about 30 minutes. And so you can just do a quick drive over there for employment. You can also work down at the beach, but there's not a whole ton of job down there either. We just got a new doctor's office. It's a small little medical clinic in Naselle. So that would probably be another place for job. However, it's not major medical. So if you're in need of constant major medical and you need it quickly, then Naselle is probably not a good place for you, because your nearest hospitals are 30 minutes over either in on the Long Beach Peninsula or 30 minutes across in Astoria, Oregon. And we do have a fire department there, and it's run by volunteers. So the last negative that I want to talk about is probably the most important one. Now, I know you're here, and if you are listening to this, you probably are looking to possibly move to Naselle, Washington, right? Or even rent. This is probably the most important negative, is that I don't ever see rental available. The best place you can find out if there is a rental house or a rental property is on the Facebook Marketplace, and I just don't ever see those. Usually, since it's such a small town and Naselle is filled with folks that go back generation from generation, a lot of people know each other from previous generations and families and whatnot. So people find out about rentals through that way, word of mouth. Hey, so-and-so, my buddy, my brother, whoever needs a place, do you know of anybody? And that's usually how rentals are found. There is one new set of kind of apartment, and it's, I think, only got 5 units. It used to be an old motel, and that's the only kind of rental complex that I know about in the Naselle area, and it's always fully rented. The other thing, obviously, is that there are not a lot of home listings in Naselle, period. There's not even a lot of land usually listed for sale. So if you are watching this and you have been thinking about maybe moving to Naselle, you got a job there, you got a job maybe in Astoria, you want to live in Naselle, and you see a listing come up, do not hesitate to call me, reach out to me, email me, text me, because they rarely come up and they don't last long at all. I understand that things are overpriced there right now, and that's just the nature of this beast. Because we rarely get listings in Naselle, we rarely get listings on the west side of Wahkiakum County, period. So when they come up, usually these sellers right now in this market can ask what they want, and they're probably going to get it. If you have been looking and you find something that you can afford, that you want, that you are interested in, I'm telling you, don't hesitate. Get in touch with me so that we can get that ball rolling, because it's not going to last long. That is super important. If you don't take anything else away from this video, make sure you take that away from this video. So I hope you have enjoyed this little bit of positives, negatives about Naselle, Washington, and you've learned something today. Like I said, remember, if you've learned anything at all, is to make sure you hit me up if you find anything that you're interested in the area, because it doesn't last long. I am a local real estate broker down in here in this Southwest Washington area, local to Naselle, so I know all about it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell so that you can stay notified of all my new videos. I am revamping everything back up and getting out there and getting more information to you guys, because I know it's an important time and there's not a lot of info out there on these small little towns. So until next time, I hope you have a good day.